Do you want to table at conventions with your art but you don't know how to get started? For those of you who don't know me, hi, my name's Oku, I'm an illustrator from the UK and I've been tabling at markets and conventions for just over a year now, and I've been documenting my whole Artist Alley journey here on YouTube. In this video, I'm going to share with you 10 things that I've learned in my first year of trading at Artist Alleys and art markets. So hopefully by the end of this video you'll feel a lot more prepared and confident for your first Artist Alley, or just with how to improve your display if you already do them. I've tried to roughly put these points into sections. So the first section is about display tips. And the first point in here is think hard about your customer experience. So for example, whether you need your items to be self-service or a menu style. So this is something that's really important to think about more during the planning phase rather than when you are actually at a market. So it's definitely something to take the time to really think about beforehand. This is whether your products are more suited to self-serve or menu. So let me explain what each one is. So self-serve is more like a shop setup where your stock would be out for people to pick up and to purchase. The obvious thing here is that it does kind of open you up to theft. I haven't experienced that from what I know. I've never really noticed an impact on my stock levels or seen anything happen or really heard about theft happening at conventions that I've tabled at, but I have heard, or from watching vlogs as well, that it's a lot more common in America for this to happen when you've got a self-serve display. They talk about it more like it's a fact that it will happen. So maybe it has happened to me and I just haven't realised, I'm not sure. But it's something to bear in mind when you're considering things. But I do think that self-serve is really good, especially for cheaper items like stickers, because it can really help to increase the amount of sales that you get when a customer can feel the product in their hand and they can pick it up and look at it. Also, I found that at conventions, people often need to look at stuff very closely because a lot of people are cosplaying and they have coloured eye contacts in and they'll be saying, I can't see anything. So I'm like, it's fine. You can pick up the product and bring it close to your face, because they'll be like leaning down at my table and trying to see everything. And I'm like, it's fine. You can pick it up. So that's something as well. If people are cosplaying, sometimes they have coloured contacts and it's difficult for them to see your products. But that's normally not that often. But anyway, I mostly use it for smaller items. So for example, my sticker packs are self-serve. They're on hooks on my displays. My bookmarks are in a little tiered display. My stickers are in pots on the table. Mystery bags I've normally got out for people to grab and pick up so that I can say to them, choose which one you want if they buy one. What else have I got self-serve? To be fair, most of my stuff is self-serve. My A5 prints and my sticker sheets are self-serve. But then when it comes to things like keychains, that's where I use a menu style. So the menu style, as such, can be gooder? Did I just say that? Can be better for high-value items. So for example, my tote bags, my keychains that are slightly more expensive, I have those as a menu style. Same with my sticker book. So I say menu, but it's more like if you've got one for a display and then people have to show you what they want. Because my sticker books, I normally have one or two designs with me. I will put each one out on a stand and then I'll have one in front that people can flick through, and that's my example one. That's my own personal sticker book that I filled up with stickers that I've collected. And people enjoy looking through it to understand what a sticker book is. And then for keychains, I've got that is more typical like menu style, where I've got each one up very clearly on the board and people would point and be like, can I have the cow keychain, or can I have the dragon keychain? So it's quite different in that way. People have to tell you. So it's also something to bear in mind. A lot of customers are going to be quite shy. They might not want to talk to you. They might not want to ask for something. And of course, if they want it, they will ask for it if they want it enough. But it's worth having a balance of the two, I feel. At the end of the day, it's really up to you to figure out what suits you and your products and your brand. But it's definitely something that I encourage you to do, is to play around with the different options available to you and figure out what looks best on your stand. So definitely do a setup, like test setup as well. Okay, the next point is to document your setup. This is so important because when you finish setting up for a convention, I found it so helpful to get into the habit of documenting it. So I say document instead of just photo, because if you have the capacity to, it can be great for social media to get some B-roll clips for random reels that you might decide that you want to make on the day. It might not even be something specific to this convention that you've tabled at, but it could be something general to conventions. You want to say artists share with me your tips for Artist Alley, things like that. But the main thing to do is to make sure that you do take a photo of your display each time, because then you will always have a record of it to recreate your displays. If you find that the layout works really well for you, you'll remember it, because otherwise you're there thinking, what did I do last time? Because that actually worked really well and now I don't know. So yeah, photos of your layouts. But back to the content part of this, if you can, you can do it quite quickly, but if you can, it'd be great to take a couple clips of your store for socials. So you can do, what I do is I like to do a zoomed out view, a little pan, and then I do a close-up look at the products. Sometimes I kind of pick them up and take a couple of little clips of the products like that, but it can be really good. A nice one to do as well is people quite like if you do like the back of my stand versus the front of my stand, things like that. Get creative with it, enjoy it. But I'll put some little, hopefully I've put some clips here while I'm chatting to show you what I've done in the past. But it can be really good for socials just to get a couple of bits and pieces for yourself. Also, both ways. Take the photo landscape for referencing. Take the photo vertical as well. Then you can post it on your Instagram stories. On to the next one. Don't be afraid to change things up. If you're at a multiple day convention, don't be scared to change things around a bit. If at the end of the first day, or even during the day, you're finding that one of your usual bestsellers just isn't selling well, move it around. Just move it. There's no harm in that. It can only hopefully sell better in this situation, or it will stay the same. So moving your stock around to different positions, or your signage even, to help people see things better, can really help to turn an event around, because after all, it's often trial and error when you're trying to figure out where to place products on your display. This can also help a lot if attendees are coming for multiple days, because if they've been there one day, you've switched your display a little bit for day 2, then they'll see different products. Different things might catch their eyes and they might come back and purchase, or if they didn't purchase on the first day, that might encourage them to purchase on the second day. I would always say to prioritize eye level and flat on the table. Now that one's a bit controversial, because a lot of people say don't have things flat on your table because they're not going to get seen. But in my experience, a lot of attendees will either walk around, and eye level's good because if they engage with you in conversation, they'll see the things around you at eye level. But a lot of people are really shy and they either don't want to get engaged in a conversation, so they're looking down, or they just don't want to look up because they're kind of nervous a lot of the time. I think a lot of people are like that. I know I used to be like that when I was younger at conventions as well. So they see what's down on the table first, and then if that looks good, they'll probably look up at the rest if it catches their attention. So I found that helping my sticker trays down at the table near the front, again, a lot of the self-serve stuff is good at the front of the table, so I've got my stickers there, my sticker sheets can catch people's eyes there, and my bookmarks and things like that, and I find that does really help because people will see that and then hopefully it will get their attention and they'll look up at all the other stock on the table. The next tip is get creative with your displays. I'll explain what I mean. So this can be an absolute game changer. When you're looking for items to use in your displays, get weird with it. You can look in the kitchen section, look in the bathroom section of shops, because often they will have a lot of great containers that you wouldn't have otherwise thought about. Think like fridge organizers, drawer organizers, things like that, pen pots even. Things like that can be great for your display, and it just depends what kind of items you're trying to display, but some of those can be amazing finds and you'll never find something else like it again quite often. So I also go to a lot of craft shops. That one seems a bit more obvious. Go to craft shops and look at like different organizers. So they're normally organizers that are made for putting inside another box, but then I just use them on my table and they look really nice. For example, that's what I use for my sticker tray on my table. Something else to check out is nail polish organizers. That is what I use for my bookmarks. That's actually quite an Artist Alley staple. I feel like a lot of people use those nail polish organizers for things on their table. Also, makeup organizers. I've seen people use like what are meant to be eyeshadow palette organizers and things like that. They can make really good display options. The Artist Alley staple itself, the grid cubes. We all know about the grid cubes, I feel like. They're usually marketed as shoe storage. This really tripped me up when I first started and I couldn't figure out where everyone was getting these grids from. I managed to find them, but it took me a while. So yeah, shoe storage on Amazon, and you'll find a lot of different options, a lot of different colors. But if you can't find your specific color as well, you could always get some vinyl in your brand color and cover them if you wanted the kind of colored ones. But also I recommend getting grid ones because they're good for hanging stuff on. They are more heavy though because they are metal, so bear that in mind too. It can also be great to try out having an interactive element on your stand. So having something a bit fun and interactive can really engage your customers and make them stay around a bit longer or just intrigue them. For me, I used to offer mini stickers in a little pot where people could kind of dig around, and they'd pick 5 for this offer. It was 5 for £1. I ended up stopping doing that because that was way too cheap and I genuinely was not making any money on those. That's something that I've learned throughout doing this. But now I've got a little gacha machine that I bought from the middle section at Aldi actually, and then I managed to basically just customize it. I just put some printed on card and cut it out and put it on there, and now I've made a really cute little gacha machine to have on my table, and that is acrylic pin badges at the minute are the prize for that, and it's all to help me promote my own characters as well. So I've got the prizes now are Tara and Friends, so I can show off all my little characters which people seem to like, so that's really nice as well. But I encourage you to do whatever you want to do, just try it out. I've seen people who have had a little book on or sketchbook on the table for people to leave doodles in, and I've also had seen people use mirrors, especially if they sell jewelry, and mirror for people to kind of imagine what it would look like on them or to take selfies in and tag them on their socials. That could be really cool as well. So yeah, just have a play around, figure out what could work well for your brand. Could be really cool. On to the next kind of broader section of what to pack. Having an essentials list is a fairly basic tip, but it's a really important one, I think. So have some kind of a list of what needs to take. This could be paper list, this could be digital list, could be something you use every time, or to be honest, by now it's mostly in my head, but that's a bit dangerous because I am a forgetful person. For me, some of my essentials, just to give you an example, are my cash bag, and in the cash bag I do always keep some pens and post-it notes in case I forget those. My card reader, plus a way to charge it. Don't forget your charging leads. And side note on this, if you haven't yet, it's a great idea to invest in a good portable charger because this can be a lifesaver, especially for long hour conventions. Coffee break. Also, the typical things like scissors, tape, blue tack, zip ties I always take with me because you're never going to know what might come in handy on a display, or something might break last minute and then you need to fix it. So yeah, I found all of those things to be quite helpful. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, like bulldog clips I always have because I use them to put up my prints. And that's pretty much it for the essentials, I'd say. But obviously it's good to have a list of all your stock as well if you need to help you remember to pack everything when you're packing. Another thing I have found so good is having a price list for yourself and for your helpers. If you have people helping you out though, I'd say this is probably a must, because as soon as I added this in, I know my partner really appreciated it. So what I have done is I've just printed a list of my prices along with any deals that I offer. So I've got a list of the prices, well, the item price, and then the offers that I offer as well at the bottom. And I know that my partner really finds this helpful because I change the prices, or I have changed the prices, and so I know that they often think of the old price. So for things like that can be really helpful. Another thing is having a stock tracker. This saves me a lot of time when I come back from conventions. So I've got a stock tracker that I fill out on my iPad, and I do it that way so that I can erase what I've done before and then use it again for the next event pretty easily. But obviously you could do this with like a clipboard and paper and just print out a new sheet when you need to and things like that. Whatever works best for you and your brain, do that. But so what I do is I've got it on my iPad and I just tally it up. So I've got specific designs on there. So I'll have a page with all my sticker packs, a page with my sticker sheets, bookmarks, everything basically. The only thing I don't really track by design is my stickers because I've just got so many and I would not be able to keep track of it very easily. Even with the bookmarks, I find it a bit difficult because sometimes people will do the offer, and if you're busy, it can get difficult to track everything, but it will be a lot more accurate than it would be if you didn't bother to track anything. So something is better than nothing, I would say. And it means I don't have to do a stock take after every convention because I know that my sales on my tracker are going to be fairly accurate, and I can just adjust my overall stock tracker that I've got on Google Sheets when I get home. So it does definitely help and reduce the stuff that you've got to do after a convention, because after a convention you're tired and you don't want to count your stock when you're having to unpack it. Let's be real. I do also write every sale that I do in a notebook, and then I write the price next to it, but this is a lot more general and basic. So I literally write the items purchased through. So for example, I might say 2 stickers, a sticker sheet and a tote bag. Total for that would be £16.50. And then if it was cash, I would just make a note next to it of that, because I try to keep track of what sales are cash or card. Can be very helpful when you're coming to work out your finances at the end. Wasn't so much in that section, but let's go on to the next one. This one is kind of general customer tips. So I know it can feel very awkward, especially when you're first starting out with how to interact with customers. I know I definitely found that, so I've got a couple tips for you here. Personally, I like to try and greet every customer that comes by. Just a little hello or hi. My partner actually, side note, my partner once in a little notebook that we had, tallied every single time that I said hiya or good morning to customers, because everyone that walked past I was like hiya, and they tallied it every single time. It was very embarrassing, but yeah, greet every customer if you can. The more you do, I think the quicker you will realize when somebody is interested in having a conversation or really doesn't want to engage with you. Not in a mean way necessarily, just they might not want to be chatty. They might just want to have a little look at your stock in quiet, and that's fine. So what I like to do is, you can kind of tell often, but if you just greet them, you'll be able to see if they want to talk or not from their response. But if you don't know, don't try and force a conversation. It might scare them off. I actually have had this, especially when I was at when I was at Bedford Games Expo. I think I scared some customers off by being a bit too chatty, because I think the people that were there were quite shy. They were your typical shy, geeky people, and like myself. But I think I scared some people off by being a bit too enthusiastic and chatty. So bear that in mind. Some people don't want to talk. Something you can do to look engaged and not too busy, but not like you're just waiting for them to say something to you, is I like to try and tidy up a little bit behind my stand, just move things around maybe, take a little sip of your water. These are all things that are great for looking engaged, but not too busy to be interrupted. Because I find if I'm sat there drawing behind my stand, it's a great way to pass the time, and it does let people ask me questions and things, and they'll be like, oh my gosh, so you draw all of this? Because some people don't realise. So that can be good, but sometimes it can make you look a little more unapproachable, or like people might not want to interrupt you. So yeah, doing little things behind the stand, especially if someone's literally there at your table, can be a good thing. So they know they can interrupt you, but you're not just watching them. My biggest tip in this section though is promo your offers. Verbally tell people about your offers. Please, I beg you, tell people that you have deals and offers, because those people won't even see them. You'll have signs everywhere. They might not read them. They probably won't read them. They probably won't see them. They're just looking at your stock, your beautiful, beautiful stock. And you need to tell them. If they're buying a bookmark, for example, I do 2 for £5 on my bookmarks. So if someone comes with one bookmark, I'm like, oh, just to let you know, I do have an offer on those, 2 for £5 if you're interested. And if they see one show, I'm like, no pressure, I've just wanted to let you know. I just like to make sure people know about the offers. And then often they'll say, no, I don't want it. Or they'll say, yes, please. And they'll go and pick another one. Some people do read the signs and they'll be like, oh, it's 3 for £5 on the stickers. I may as well get another couple of stickers. But a lot of people don't do that. So yeah, just tell them. Don't be afraid to tell them, because the worst they can do is say no. And that's all they will do. If they don't want it, they will say, oh, no, thank you, that's okay. And that's fine. But tell them, because you can upsell very easily by doing that. And it's so good to do. People need to know, and they might want to buy more. It has definitely increased my sales by being more confident to do this. So, top tip. Okay, my last tip is quite short, but it is stock. That's the broad section here that I've written down as stock. So my last tip is to try and keep it a little bit tidy behind your booth, at least semi-organised. We aren't aiming for perfection here. Let's be honest, it's going to be messy behind the stand. I know it is behind my stand all the time. Maybe I'm just talking for myself. I don't know. But try to keep it a little bit organised, because the more you have your stock organised, the more you can make a quick and easy checkout for the customer. So it'll be a lot easier for you and less stressful for you as well. And any helpers, if you know where your stock is, you know where it is easily, it's very quick to grab. So this is more for things that aren't self-serve, obviously, because if they're self-serve, people will pick them up and hand them to you and go, this is what I want, and you'll check them out very easy. If you have more things that are menu items that you need to grab from behind the stall, it's a lot easier when you've got it more organised. So I've got a box of my pin badges, a box of my keychains, I've got my sticker books are always quite easily grabbable, my notepads, things like that behind the stand. So it's quite quick for me to go, okay, let me just grab that for you. And I grab them, hand them to the customer once they paid, things like that. Yeah, you want to try and do that as quickly as you can so you can move on to the next one, especially during busy periods. So I really hope this has helped. I hope those tips were kind of not super obvious ones, but helpful at least. But thank you so much for watching. I really hope that you found these tips helpful, and if you have any questions, please leave them below, because I will try and answer as many as I can, or if there's loads, then I will make another video with a part 2 if you're interested in that. Also, if there's anything else like Artist Alley wise that you want to know more about, let me know. I'm thinking of doing a video all about stamp rallies, because a lot of people don't know what a stamp rally is. So if you're interested in that, let me know. If you are interested though in seeing more about my experience at Comic-Cons, I do vlog most of the ones I've been to, and I do a nice summary at the end telling about how much I found and my experience at it and how much I made that weekend. So if you're interested in that, I will link the videos in the end screen. So yeah, please do check out that playlist if you are interested, and good luck with your artist alleys. I hope you do amazing. Thank you for watching. Bye!